boxing fans. Once again, this bozo, this clown, this racist, this hater of anything that's not black and American exposes himself once again. He thinks by hating on non-black fighters, he's somehow exposing everybody else for hating on black fighters. But it's completely the opposite. All you're doing is exposing yourself as a racist and a hater. That's it. By saying that Lomachenko and Kambosos is a shit show, while fanboying Tank Davis fighting fucking Frank Martin, you just expose yourself again and again. You said that people are trying to get Tank Davis to go to a weight class where he's not comfortable, pushing him to his third weight division, right? But Lomachenko's doing this in his third weight division. He's fighting a guy that was a 3-belt unified champion. Who's Tank fighting? I know you like him because he's black, but Frank Martin is almost 30 years old, has never won a world title. Of course, he's jumping at the chance to fight Tank Davis because it's the biggest money fight he can get. So, no shade to Frank Martin. That fight makes sense for him. But for Tank Davis, this is just another nobody. And I don't say that to be disrespectful to Martin, but Martin hasn't done anything. You want to disrespect Lomachenko for fighting a unified world champion, coming off of a loss, right? Like Lomachenko just fought Devin Haney, lost what was a controversial loss, and now is fighting George Kambosos in his very next fight. A guy that you say is a cherry pick, but you didn't say that when Devin Haney was fighting him. Again, exposing yourself. For Devin Haney, George Kambosos was a great win. A win that you used to push Devin Haney into the pound-for-pound list. So for Haney to beat Kambosos, he became pound-for-pound. But for Lomachenko to fight Kambosos, coming off of a loss, that's a cherry pick. See, once again, you're just exposing yourself, right? Tank Davis fighting Martin is what it is. It's a quality fight, but he's fighting an in-house PBC fighter on pay-per-view. It's not a fight that really anybody was asking for. Sure, as opposed to fighting a rematch with Isaac Cruz or Valenzuela or some other low-level dude, Frank Martin's a much better opponent. But this is the same Frank Martin that basically was exposed in his last fight, fighting a Eurobum. But yet, you're going to give Tank Davis more credit for fighting Frank Martin than you'd give Lomachenko fighting George Kambosos. Tank Davis doesn't need to go to 140, his third weight division, and fight top-level competition. But Lomachenko is in his third weight division. He's fought top competition in this division and took 2 losses in the process, but fought top competition in Teal and Devin Haney. All we're asking Tank Davis to do is fight similar level of opponents, unless you're afraid to get beat. And we know that's what this comes down to, right? Guys like this, John, and other haters, American YouTubers that just hate anything that's not black and American, they always want to see the non-black fighter exposed. So they want them to go into weight divisions where they're not comfortable, not at their best. They want to find opponents they think can beat them. So these fighters can take a loss and then they can say, he's a hype job, he's media created, he's not that good. You guys have been exposed for fanboying a guy who's not good. Yet you supported dudes like Charlo, who never fought anyone legitimate, Andrade, who never fought a world champion, Tank Davis, who's never unified, and has no interest in fighting the best fighters in boxing. None of them, ever. Not at 130, not at 135, not at 140. But now you want Lomachenko to go to 140 to take on Devin Haney in a rematch. So he should go to his 4th weight division, but Tank Davis shouldn't go to his 3rd, right? This exposes me or exposes you. Lomachenko already been in 3 weight divisions. Shakur Stevenson is currently in his 3rd weight division, like Lomachenko. These are two fighters that are at 135 that Tank Davis easily could fight. Why? Because he's the big money man at this division. You make these guys the offer for big money contracts. They're going to cross over to the PBC to fight you in unification fights. And then boxing fans would be super excited. But we can't expect that to happen because guys like you hold Tank Davis to another level, a level that's far inferior to what you hold everybody else to. And the irony in this situation is you go out of your way to call Tank Davis the face of boxing. The face of boxing. I mean, if you were going to call Floyd Mayweather the face of boxing, nobody could really complain. But you're calling Tank Davis the face of boxing, which is disrespectful to Floyd because Tank Davis ain't walking the way Floyd walked. He ain't walking the way Canelo Alvarez walked. He ain't walking the way Bud Crawford walked. There's a lot of fighters in boxing today, and Tank Davis ain't doing what they're doing. He ain't walking the way Devin Haney's walking. He ain't walking the way fucking Teofimo Lopez is walking. These dudes all have done more and taken bigger chances and put themselves in positions where potentially they might be beat. We're not asking Tank Davis to jump up to 147 pounds to fight a welterweight just so we could find someone who could beat him, so we could go, see, he's a hype job. No. That's you. And once again, here you are moving the goalposts. You feel that Tank Davis is being criticized, so what do you have to do? You do what you always do. You come out and attack the white guy. Consistently. Consistently, that's what you do. We can go back to all your videos and see all the videos where you do that time and time and time again. You can't win an argument. You can't justify anything. So what do? You deflect. You talk about Golovkin, who's retired. You fucking are now crapping on Lomachenko. Lomachenko, who's done far more in boxing than fucking Tank Davis has done. And it ain't even close. And Tank Davis is 29 going on 30 years old. You said he was like 27. He ain't that young. He's almost 30. Almost 30. Right? Yet you criticize Lomachenko because he was 25 when he won his first world title. Tank Davis was 21. Yeah? And in those 9 years since winning his first world title, he's went on to do fucking bugger all. Nothing. Even the LDBC, a group of people you fanboy for, disagree with you and agree with me because they're very critical of Tank Davis. Very critical of Tank Davis. But yet you want to make this about race. It's not about race. But the fact that you're putting Lomachenko there because he's got a fight with Kambosos, you think somehow this exposes us and proves you correct. Lomachenko's coming off of a loss against a pound-for-pound fighter, something Tank Davis has never done. He's going to Australia to fight in hostile territory, right? The last time Tank Davis did anything similar to that was literally one fight after becoming a champion when he was like 21, 22. You know, now they talk about him going to Saudi Arabia to fight Devin Haney for fucking 30, 40, 50 million dollars. And you act like people are being unfair. Oh my God, sorry. We're going to give you $40 million to fight Devin Haney in Saudi Arabia. I hope that's not racist. Yeah, everybody in boxing would jump at the opportunity to do exactly that. I mean, Inoue is talking about potentially doing that, but Inoue gets criticized, but Tank Davis doesn't. Inoue's in his 4th weight division, has been undisputed twice, but he gets criticized, but Tank doesn't. You just expose yourself as a clown and a racist and a fanboy. That's all. You think spending $85 to watch Tank Davis fight Frank Martin on a card that will probably be a mediocre card overall, probably stacked full of Mexican fighters, but the PBC loves black Americans, right? And we'll be lucky if this pay-per-view does over 300,000 pay-per-view buys, and then people inevitably are going to say, see, Tank Davis can't sell without Ryan Garcia. And you're going to say, that's not true. That's fake news. Yet every single fight he's had without Ryan Garcia hasn't done more than 300,000. He fights Ryan Garcia, does 1.2. But Ryan Garcia has nothing to do with it. So when Ryan Garcia fights Devin Haney and they do over 800,000 buys, then what are you going to say? You're going to be coming out with more racial fucking narratives. You're going to continue to deflect. And you're probably going to like throw hate towards Lomachenko as if Lomachenko should be criticized. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Lomachenko should fight Shakur, right? Because that's what he needs to do. But Tank Davis doesn't have to fight Shakur. Okay. But you're not a fanboy. You're not a hater. Please. Everyone sees fucking exactly what you are.